Let's take a look at some of the more advanced features found in Google Slides that really help you to make your presentations different or maybe give you a little bit more functionality with the slide environment. To start off, let's just talk about the basic slide format, the length and width. Now what's super cool is that if we go to our file here and we go to page setup, what you're going to notice is that I have the opportunity to either do a 4x3, 6x10, or 6x9, or 6x10. But I also have an opportunity to create a custom slide. So I can change the size of the slide. Now I'm not going to do it to this slide, but I'm going to open a new presentation that I have. I'm going to come to File, Page Setup, and what you'll notice is that I changed this from 10x8 to a 10x30. So instead of having this really, it's just kind of rectangular shape, I've created what I have now is an infographic. If I take my view tool here and I zoom in a little bit, what you'll notice is that each one of these individual pieces here are just graphics that I've placed inside of a Google Slide environment. This is a background, this is a background here, and I was able to make a infographic from a Google Slide presentation. So don't let the size really restrict what you do here. Make sure that you know that you can actually create a custom size format here, a Google Slide that you can use. Once you have this, you can share it with your students as a view only. They can then make a copy, and that copy then becomes theirs, and it allows them to create their own infographic using that page setup. So let's jump back into here and look at a couple other pieces here that you can do. First and foremost, let's make sure if you need speaker notes, this is a great place to do that right here, so we can add the notes in here, links, different things you want to talk about with each one of the slides. We can also do things like, for example, like we can add animation. All right, so if we want to add animation to a different item here, I click on it to select it. I click on Add Animation and I say Fade In on click, and when I play that, it's going to show you what that looks like. So on click, I'm going to get there we go, it's going to fade in there to that slide. So animations are super easy. Remember, the thing you have to do is you actually have to click the object there, and if I click on stop here, I'm going to come back to this slide, I click on this object, I add animation, and it gives me the ability to do lots of things. I can fly in, fly out. Some of those are really distracting, so I try not to recommend using too many of those as you go through there. So that's animation. Again, to get rid of it, I simply click on the X and that goes away. The other thing you're going to notice here is I have add-ons here in slides. Again, these are unique to the slide presentation. So if I click on Get Add-ons, I can actually add some different add-ons here. So for example, this is a great one. I can add super cool photos to my Google Slide accounts here. Lucid charts are always good. You're going to find these throughout the different tools inside. So if I click on free, it's going to go ahead and I'm going to tell it what account. It's going to tell me what types of permissions I need. I click allow, and just like it did in Docs, it's going to work for a little bit, and it's going to show me that I have a add-on now called Lucid Diagrams for Slides. So again, some of these make me sign in again with Google. I'm going to go ahead and turn that off. Come back in. I'm going to get another add-on here. And let's see if we can find another one. This is a great one here. So I really like the thought of this one. What I can do with Photo Slideshow is have it create a presentation for me from an album of images. So for example, if I have a Google Drive folder and it has all images from maybe a field trip that we took, I can simply use Google Photo Slideshow to import photos from a Google album or a Google Drive folder, and it's going to take and place an image on a single image on every slide, and it's going to use as many slides as it takes for the pictures that I have. And I'm going to have a slideshow that I can throw up onto a projector, and people can watch if I like to. So add-ons, same type of thing, super cool, super powerful. Again, to get rid of add-ons, we click here to manage these add-ons. I want to show you one more tool inside of Google Presentation before we move on to another tool, and that's the Present tool. Now, One of the cool things that we can do with the Google Slide presentation is what we call presenter view. So we have a Q&A view here. So basically what it allows us to do is going to create a back channel. So if I turn this on, what you're going to notice is that it gives me the ability to take and ask audience questions. And so if I click on Start New here, so I'm under Audience Tools, I start new, what's going to happen is it's going to give me a little URL up on top of my screen that's going to show up. If we access this URL, I'm going to go ahead and copy it right here. See, what I can do is it's going to take me to a screen where I can enter in a question. Wow, this is cool. All right, and I submit this. I can either ask it anonymously or not. I click on submit, and now that shows up. Now here's what else is cool. If maybe I ask a question, or which one do you like best, students can actually start to vote up these different tools, right? Or these different suggestions. Or what would you suggest we do here? Those types of things. Again, that's all based on this link right here. So that comes from the audience tools. Again, I can turn it on and off, toggle it on and off if I like. It tells me, it gives me a running time, and I can go to my next slide and my next slide and so on. So that presenter tools, it takes a little bit to get used to, so I would suggest you play with it a little bit, but super cool, especially if you're trying to elicit or get feedback from your students on different parts of your presentation. So that's Google Slides, quick in a nutshell, and hopefully you're able to use that to push information out to your students in lots of different ways.